Let's see. Okay. All right. So yeah, I'm pretty sure we're live now. Just let me look. All right. So today we're going to be doing an interview with Aaron, and Aaron has been absolutely killing it with his Facebook profile and high ticket affiliate marketing. So if you've been wondering where to start, or if you've been struggling with getting traffic to your affiliate offers and you want to ideally do it for free, this is going to be a perfect live for you. Going to get a little bit of his backstory and where he came from and how he has been able to achieve the success that he has been. So if you are watching this live, be sure to drop a hashtag live. And if you're watching the replay, be sure to drop a hashtag replay. And we'll just go ahead and jump right into it. So here's Aaron.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, for sure. How's everything going? How's your holidays been?
Good. Relaxing. Good to see family again. Yeah.
So yeah, I just wanted to jump on a live and, been able to totally see you crush it and have a ton of success on, Facebook, and just a little bit of your backstory and how, you're fairly new to the affiliate marketing scene around COVID time, right?
Yeah, it was.
Hopefully I don't get flagged for saying that.
Damn. Yeah, I did get started around COVID time. So I come from a construction background. I did like 10 years in construction. 9 years, nearly 10 years. I was a drywall or gyp rocker, depends where you are in the world. But yeah, I used to hang this stuff. Anyway, I spent a long time doing that. I was always injured, always exhausted, never had enough money. It was paying the bills, but I wasn't well off. So I started looking for other ways that I could make money around October 2019. So it was just over a year ago now. And I started looking for different ways that I could make money online, and, went down the rabbit hole on YouTube, spent hundreds and hundreds of hours. Like it would probably took me 2 months of just going through different ways I could make money. But yeah, man, I stumbled across this thing called affiliate marketing, and I was kind of like, well, what's this? I don't need a product. I can, sort of earn while I learn and build an audience. I don't really need any experience. And I thought, wow, that sounds almost too good to be true. What's this all about? So yeah, I jumped in. I guess I'm giving you the long version of my backstory, but I jumped in, and initially I jumped into a blog, and I was like, sweet, I don't mind writing, I'm going to write a blog. So I just smashed out this blog, and I spent like a month on it, like 14-hour days, man, burnt myself out, like just going crazy. And yeah, like I launched it, paid someone to do all the SEO because I had no idea. And yeah, man, like, look, I can tell you now, a year later, I've had like under 1,000 visitors to it. So something went like horribly wrong there. So anyway, I got to the end of the blog and I realized that this wasn't going to get me money now. Like this was a more longer term strategy. And I was like, well, I want to be able to replace my 9 to 5. So I started looking at different ways. I sort of stumbled across social media marketing and played around with the idea for a little bit until it sort of hit January this year. So January 2020, when I actually found out, I went to the doctors, had a few scans because my neck was constantly sore. And he told me that I had nerve root impingements and arthritis in my neck. So pretty much he's like, you got to stop working now. I was running like a small drywall business at the time. And he's like, you got to shut down the business and you can't do hard labor ever again. And it was kind of like a slap in the face. I was like, well, that's the only thing I know how to do. So that's going to be a problem because I got a mortgage, like I got car payments, I got a girlfriend to take care of, I got bills to pay. So yeah, sort of put the pressure on me. So anyway, started looking for another way. I joined a mastermind. I was in a bad place mentally because of everything that was going on. So it took me a few months to really get into the swing of things. But then March 2020 is when I officially kicked off my high ticket affiliate marketing journey. And yeah.
Just been killing it ever since, huh?
Oh, no, it wasn't like that.
No, yeah, I can totally relate to you with the blogging. That's one thing a lot of people don't. I blogged a lot. I mean, crazy amounts of blogs, blog posts, and I still blog consistently, but they say on average it takes about 35 weeks for your blog post to even start seeing traffic. So, you write a blog post and you could expect 8 months from now is when you should see the maximum, the potential from your blog post. So, yeah. So you kind of was, sorry. you messed around with blogging a little bit, and then did you automatically do Facebook right after that? Is that where you kind of just fell into?
Kind of, yeah. So I guess the way it happened was that I realized blogging was long term, so I started looking for a shorter term one. I looked at like some social media marketing. A bunch of guys on YouTube were talking about it. I thought, oh, it's kicking off right now. Probably a good way to go. I played around with I started a profile and just started spamming my link out to everyone. Like I did the thing we get taught not to do for a little bit. It didn't work for me either. And then there was this guy that I've been following on YouTube, Jacob Karras, for a while. And he was like this Aussie guy. I could relate to him. And I was like, he seems like a really good guy. Always valuable content, knows what he's talking about, super successful. And yeah, I sort of hit this point where after I got diagnosed with the injury, I was like, well, I kind of I've got to make this work. I'm like, this is it. I need to make this work. So I was like, well, whatever he's doing, I didn't even know what he was doing at the time. I was just like, whatever he's doing, I want to do it because it's working for him. I like him. I want to learn from him. So I literally just booked a call through one of his case study funnels. Didn't even know it was Facebook marketing. I just wanted to do whatever he was doing. And it turns out that it was high ticket affiliate marketing. So I guess I kind of stumbled across it. I just got lucky.
Just kind of fell into it. Hey, that's pretty awesome. Yeah. I came across his stuff actually through you. Ironically, I came, and I was actually in the affiliate space for a bit over a year. And I totally wish I would have came across his content, and by far one of the most underrated YouTube channels, I would say. He's got some amazing stuff on there that it's just some value packed information and stuff that you don't even find in big YouTube channels. But so what is your process a little bit with the organic Facebook marketing, coming from some people that a lot of the people that are probably watching might not have taken programs? What does that process actually entail a little bit?
Yeah, so Facebook organic marketing, it's not overly complicated. It's quite a simple process. It's not easy, but it is very simple. It just basically involves optimizing your Facebook profile. We call it a profile funnel or something like that. But yeah, optimize your Facebook profile. We add targeted friends. So we add friends from, Facebook groups, fan pages, wherever it is that you find them, but we find friends who are targeted, we know are most likely interested in online business. We add them as a friend. We reach out to them and we chat to them, and we close the sales in Messenger or via phone if someone has a problem that we can solve. Now, a part that I've left out of that process is content. I think content, no matter what you're doing, what kind of marketing you're doing is king. You've got to be posting content. So that's a big part of what we do as well. Daily, we post content. So essentially a day-to-day, organic marketer, day-to-day activities, I guess they look like putting a post out, a piece of content on your Facebook profile, adding a bunch of friends, whatever that number is for you, reaching out to all the friends who accept, and just having conversations, getting to know people, planting seeds, building trust. And yeah, look, that's overly simplified. There's a few moving parts on the side, but yeah, that's the basic process.
Yeah, and it's definitely can be powerful. Obviously, you're doing a lot. I mean, doing very well with your Facebook profile. And you do you do any other methods, or I know you are on TikTok. Do you utilize any other strategies besides Facebook, or is it primarily Facebook?
Yeah, so it's primarily Facebook. I haven't to this date run a single paid ad since starting High Ticket, so I don't do any paid. The blog, I let it just die off, and I didn't renew the domain and just let it. Yeah, that one's gone. I am on TikTok. Yeah, TikTok's not a big part of what I do, but it definitely generates me leads. Look, it definitely it builds my email list. I've made over $10,000 through TikTok now, which has been great, but not a big part of what I do. I'm very, very focused on Facebook. And I think that's a big thing that, look, we both learned it from Jacob, is that focus is really important. It's really important to focus. If you split off in 1,000 different directions, it's very hard, unless you've got a lot of time and energy, very hard to pick up traction in any of them. So yeah, very focused for me.
Right. Yeah. I like how you mentioned that too. It's spreading yourself thin in a bunch of different things, and you don't really actually get very good at all of them. Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
I've been notorious for that for sure. I usually have a lot on my plate. So would you
I think a lot of
recommend?
people are like that.
Yeah, I would say a lot of people end up doing that on maybe not even on purpose because they see a lot of bigger gurus and a lot of really highly successful people doing all these things, and either a lot of them are outsourcing it or they didn't start all of them at once. You know, they got good at one before they moved on to the next, or something along that.
Yeah, really important to remember that. Like these people, most of these people that you're watching on YouTube have huge teams. So yeah, they're on like 12 different platforms, but they likely don't do any work on any of them. They've completely outsourced like entire platforms to run that. You know, the Instagram, the Facebook strategy, the blog. Like, you know, it's important to remember that. So yeah, people talk about omnipresence, and you know, you need to be everywhere. You need to be active on all the platforms. That's all good and well when you've got a good cash flow, you know, $10,000, $20,000 a month coming in, and you can afford to outsource these things in order to grow. But when you're starting, it's a recipe for disaster. Like it doesn't work like that. It's so important to focus.
Right. Yeah, for sure. That's like, I release 3 blog posts a week, but to be transparent, I outsource all my writing. So I'm not physically doing that anymore. That's when I started transitioning into organic Facebook marketing and other things, is when I got that to a point where it's pretty much all automated now. It's definitely one thing that has helped me for sure. So Messenger, I know that could be tricky for people. I know it's something that I struggled with. What are some tips and tricks that you would recommend, or maybe even some books? Because I know I've started reading a lot of books and stuff that you recommended on sales. Because ultimately that's what Messenger boils down to, is this actual being a sales process, right?
Yeah. So when you're doing organic marketing, Messenger is your sales process. Absolutely. It's where you take people from, you know, an outreach message or an inbound lead, and bringing them through to a high ticket sale. That's absolutely where it happens. So, tips and tricks. I think for starters, I'm pretty sure the book you might be talking about is called Sell Like Crazy, from Sabri Subi. Awesome book. Highly recommend that book. Really, really good, really clear, and breaks it down into like really actionable steps. And what I liked about that book so much is that it reinforced the sales process that I was already using. Basically, there was a few minute differences, but it really just reinforces the fact that the sales process is very similar for most people. But yeah, look, tips and tricks on Messenger. A lot of people are doing outreach with a goal of just making a bunch of sales, forgetting that, you know, it takes 7 to 12 touches, is it, for most people in order to buy something? I could be off there. It might even be more than that. But like if you're coming into outreach messaging with the goal of just making high ticket sales, it's gonna be tough. It's 100% going to be tough. And I think an important mindset shift to have there is just to realize that we're planting seeds. So we're planting seeds, we're building value and relationships and getting to know people, so that in the future, when they're ready to buy or they read a piece of our content and they decide to reach out, they trust us, like they know us. We've already planted that seed. We've built the relationship. So I think it's an important thing to remember when you're doing outreach messaging, is not to have the goal to make a bunch of sales. Like your goal is to network, to build relationships, and to get to know people. And then, you know, at a later date, you can maybe sell. I think that's super important. There's, I couldn't open up a can of worms on this one. There's a lot of things we could chat about here in Messenger. But so another really common thing I see people like a problem I see people having is that they just run into this wall of like, everyone just says they're doing great. So they start asking questions, how's your business going? And everyone's like, yeah, it's going great, thanks. And I think a common thing for this, like a common reason for that answer, is that they haven't built rapport. They haven't found something in common, found that common ground. Like this person doesn't trust you. And at the end of the day, look, there's a chance, like they're probably expecting you to sell them something. They're like, this guy's a marketer. He's branded. He's added me as a friend. He sent me a message. I'm just waiting for the pitch. Like I'm just sitting here waiting to get pitched on something. And you've got to remember that people are in this mindset. So if you do something they don't expect, right, and don't pitch them, you're going to win points straight away. You know what I mean? Like you're going to stand out against 1,000 other marketers because they're all going to pitch this guy. But if you don't pitch them, it can be really powerful. And I know that sort of sounds counterintuitive because you're trying to make sales. But if you do not pitch on the first contact, you let your content warm them up, get to know them, build the relationship, and then pitch, the conversion rate is going to be like night and day, like totally different. So I think that's a really common like mistake I see people making, is just coming in and just pitching too fast. Yeah, I don't know. It's never worked for me at all. It's never worked for me. So I think that's a big thing. A lot of beginners sort of stumble with.
Yeah, just coming in super aggressive and like, yeah, super salesy. You know, that's the thing, is it is about sales, but in reality, you're kind of trying to solve problems and diagnose people's problems, right? Not necessarily just sell them something.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think, like, I guess to go off the back of what you just said, like we're trying to diagnose people's problems. Another thing I see a lot of people do, and I did this for a long time, is like we jump into the conversation. You'll do everything right. You know, you'll build rapport, you find some common ground, and then we pivot into like, you know, a couple of probing questions to find out exactly where they're at. And what happens is quite often, or like I did this for ages. So I'll ask a question and they'll give me an answer and I'll be like, oh, cool. And ask another question. And I'll be like, oh, cool. And ask another question. And then they start going, well, you know, what's with all the questions? Like, it feels like an interrogation. Like, it's not a conversation anymore. You're interrogating them on their business. And if you're getting interrogated, think about like if someone jumps in your inbox and just starts berating you with questions, you're not going to buy, right? Like, there's no way you're going to buy from them. You're going to be like, well, back up, like, relax. I haven't even told you I have a problem yet. So I think like it's important to make sure that it's a conversation. So when you're having these chats in Messenger, remember that this is a person. You know, it's not just like, even though it's online, this is a person. Have a conversation like you would in real life. Like, you wouldn't just hammer someone with questions in real life. Share a bit of your own experience, you know, make a joke, get them to laugh, be friendly with them, but don't just hammer them with a whole bunch of questions.
Right. And I know when you just said get them to laugh, I know you've mentioned that previously before, like the psychology behind using that as like a pivot point, right? Into the being able to transition once you're there. That's like a key for building rapport.
Yeah. It's something, Darren Little, so he runs Black Ops. He's an awesome marketer, but Darren Little talks about that. He calls it a state change. And I believe Jacob talks about it as well, actually, in the training. So a state change is really powerful because like people's walls kind of come down. Like they, you know, you get them to laugh or like it's really simple. Like the psychology behind it is that we're trying to do something they don't expect. We're trying to bring down the walls. We're trying to stop the resistance. So they realize we're not just someone that's here to just hit them up and pitch them on everything. We're a person too, you know, we can relate to them. We've got something in common with them and we get them to laugh. And it's really powerful to pivot into that after that point.
Yeah, it definitely can be powerful. I know that the few sales that I've made on Messenger were definitely from building actual relationships with people and interacting with them, and actually really not even having any like sales in mind, even though of course the ultimate goal was to make sales, but it wasn't the core focus of the conversations.
Yeah, and that's an incredibly powerful mindset to come into a conversation with, like the nothing in return mindset, like not having any preconceived ideas of where this conversation is going to go, because you don't know who this person is, you don't know where they're at, you don't know what problems they're experiencing or anything. So just not jumping. I guess it goes back to what I said before, was like coming into these conversations with the goal of making a sale. You should be entering these conversations with the goal of just finding out a bit about the person, getting to know them a little bit, and then, you know, maybe there's a sale to be made and you can pitch them, but maybe there's not, and maybe now's not a good time, or maybe they're just not interested. So it's important to go into the conversations without that goal of making a sale, and just with the goal of getting to know someone and seeing where things go from there.
So I have a question. I know a lot of people always ask me this, especially people that are just looking to get started into organic Facebook marketing. How do you come up with content ideas?
Content ideas, yeah, right. That's something I struggled with a lot as well in the beginning. These days, I have a Google Doc. So I have a Google Doc, and I've listed out my ideal customer. So I know my ideal customer, right, is me when I was starting. Like, that's who I want to deal with. So I know the pain points I was experiencing. I know the objections I had. I know the false beliefs I had. And this is what I do. I have a Google Doc, and I'll brainstorm out hundreds of these ideas. So like, all the false beliefs that people have around online business, all of the objections that they have, time, money, tech, like whatever that is, list them all out. That's how I come up with a bunch of my content ideas. On top of that, I wrap that in another layer. So I'll have so I have like a topic value, so value post. What can I write for value? Value. So I write, what's all the aspects of organic marketing, content, having an offer, sales, adding friends, like all these sorts of things. And I brainstorm like all different ideas for this. Like basically what I'm doing is I'm just creating a Google Doc with hundreds and hundreds of like objections, false beliefs, value-based topics I can cover. And then that way I've got this reference. So each time that I come to write content, I just open up this Google Doc and I go, okay, I want to overcome a false belief today. What's a common false belief? I've got 10 of them written down here. Cool. This is going to be my content idea for the day. That's where I come up with a majority of my content. I think a lot of people underestimate this. They're like, oh, I don't need to do that. I know what the pain points are. I'm just going to think of it. And I don't know, maybe you can relate to this, but when it comes time to write content, your brain goes blank and you're just like, well, I cannot think of anything I was going to write about. Having this document has saved me so much time. It's made me a ton of money because it's given me a content strategy. Like there's a strategy behind what I'm writing. I'm not just writing RVL. So RVL is a good formula to follow, but that's like the surface layer. Let's go a layer deeper. What are we incorporating? What sort of stories? What's a goal? What's the objective of each post? Super powerful to have that. So that's how I come up with my content ideas. But on top of that, a really easy way to do it, and something I still do, is when I see a topic or a headline or a call to action or a post that I really like, I will screenshot it or save it. And then all of a sudden I've got an inspiration document. So I've got a whole file of inspiration documents for content ideas.
Like different posts and different, so yeah, I really like what you said about having a doc. Like that is super crucial with, other forms of content. You want to plan your content out and have some type of idea, but I like what you're saying about having it actually resonate with your ideal customers to the point of it. Each piece of content is like catered towards a specific pain point or something that will resonate with them. That's definitely something I'm going to need to start implementing in my posts, because I kind of just, that is one thing I could improve on for sure. Cause I kind of just cycle through the RVL formula as you're talking about. And for those who don't know, that's results, value, and lifestyle. Just a way of cycling your type of content. But I definitely like that idea.
Yeah, and just to be clear, like I don't want to like RVL is great and I still follow it. I still follow the basic RVL premise, but it's like the surface layer. I think it's important, as you said, to go a layer deeper and have, like, you ever read those posts where you're scrolling through your feed and you kind of like read it and you're like, what's the point? Like, what is the point you're getting at in this post? I'm not too sure what you're trying to tell me. And that's through a lack of like clarity on your content. So not having a clear goal for each piece of content. Powerful stuff, man. Everything changed for me when I got really clear on that. I had this Google Doc. I wrote a content calendar. I was like, today I'm going to write a story that's going to overcome an objection. Tomorrow I'm going to give practical tips about a breakthrough I've had. The next day I'm going to write non-monetary results. Like just being clear on that is a game changer, because at the end of the day, content's everything. Like if you can really nail your content right, the goal of your content at the end of the day, the number one goal is to generate inbound leads, to get people to read your post and to reach out to you and go, wow, I read that post. Can you tell me more about what you do? That's the goal of content. So if you're clear on your strategy and you can really target those pain points, you're going to have a lot more luck with it. And that's where sort of things shifted for me.
Right. So I like how you mentioned that. So maybe I approach this backwards, because we talked about Messenger first, but as you just mentioned, you actually get people, by creating content in such a way that you actually get people reaching out to you and asking you for what you're doing, and asking, like, basically in a lead coming to you, right?
That's the goal. Correctly. Yeah, absolutely. That's the goal. That's attraction marketing kicking in. And that's where I think you're right. Like, I think content goes at the top. Content's number one, getting that right. I think there's another layer, is that targeting the right people, making sure you're in front of the right people. But beyond that, it's super important to be generating this content, because, like, let's face it, outreach can be tough. Like, no, I don't think anyone loves doing outreach. Sometimes it gets really, really monotonous, but but the percentage of people that you'll close on outreach will be, maybe 1%, maybe 3%, depending on where your sales skills are at, maybe less, maybe more. It really depends. But when you generate an inbound lead, it's a whole different dynamic. Like if someone's reached out to you for help, you're an authority, they know you somewhat, they trust you to a degree, or they wouldn't be reaching out for help. And it's so much easier to close a sale. So I just got off a coaching call with one of my students, and I was explaining to them that 90 to 95% of the sales that I've made have been off inbound leads. Not a great deal of the sales that I've made have been through outreach. Outreach is how you get the wheels turning in the beginning. It's how you get those first few wins. But it's very much about getting attraction marketing to kick in. Yeah,
and getting the momentum and the ball rolling. I mean, I know from experience, I've reached out to you and jumped into programs or whatever from posts you've made and things like that. So it definitely works, and it's I like how you break down the concepts of how that actually works, because I feel like a lot of people might just think it's messaging a bunch of people and in Messenger all the time, but it's also the content is, as you said, content is king on almost every platform anyways, but
yeah, absolutely. So, and just remembering that outreach isn't forever. Like outreach is, it's to get things moving. Sorry to jump in, man. Go on.
Oh, you're all right. So if you had any tips for people that are just starting, what would you recommend? What types of starting point, if someone was looking to implement organic Facebook marketing, what are just a couple of things that you would suggest starting with?
Number one, before everything, is delay gratification. So you need to be prepared to work at this for, look, let's be generous here. Let's say 3 to 6 months. 3 to 6 months, you need to be prepared to work at this, and maybe you're not going to get paid. Maybe you'll make a couple of sales, maybe you won't. But you need to be prepared to do that. And if you're not prepared to do that, there's a good chance you're not going to make it. That's number one, is you really need to delay that gratification and be prepared. Things can happen quickly, but it doesn't happen quickly for everyone, and everyone's breakthrough is at a different point. So if you can delay the gratification and just understand that you're building out an asset, you're building up skills that are going to pay you for a lifetime. You'll never have to work a job again. If you can master this stuff, you'll never work another job. And that's an important mindset to get in before you come in here. Be prepared to put in that work. But beyond that, the sort of things I talked about, so you need to get super clear on getting in front of the right people. So who are the right people, who it is that we're targeting, and find a way to get in front of them. Number two is your content. You need to have a strategy. Don't sort of flail around posting random posts. There needs to be some sort of strategy to your content. Look, they're probably the biggest things you can do at the end of the day. And then I guess in Messenger is probably the number one tip I'd give is like, make sure there's a sale to be made before you try to make a sale. That's something one of my coaches taught me, and that like, boom, like as soon as he said that, I was like, light bulb moment. That's crazy, because I've been trying to pitch all these people when they don't even have a problem. Why am I wasting my time trying to sell something to someone when there's not a problem to be solved? Like we're solving, that's our job. We solve problems. So if there's no problem to be solved, don't try and sell something to someone. I know they're very broad tips, but I think they're really, really important things.
Right. Yeah, I get what you're saying about, I actually had someone approach me that the other day and just like tell me that my profile looked like crap, and I needed to, basically I needed their help, and he wasn't going to listen to me. And I asked him, I said, if you've been doing this for so long, I mean, I feel like you would have approached this a little differently, because you didn't even figure out if I even needed help,
Absolutely. Yeah, that's funny you mentioned that. I spoke to someone else who was approached by someone. So there might be someone trolling through a few of the groups doing that at the moment, trying to make a few sales.
Yeah. But yeah, those are definitely some good tips for sure. So what are your plans as of right now? Are you currently working on anything other than promoting things as affiliates? Do you have anything going on yourself, or?
Yeah, man. So I'm working on making a transition at the moment to one-to-many selling. I decided that's the direction I wanted to head. So I guess that looks like, things like paid ads, masterclasses, webinars, and things like that. For me, that's just the direction I decided to go. I sort of hit a point where I'd achieved the results with one-to-one selling, and just decided to pivot. Like I just decided I wanted to try something new. So yeah, that's where I'm headed. So for me right now, that looks like a masterclass that I'm working on. You've probably seen it across Facebook everywhere. I haven't been keeping it secret at all. It's called The Secret Edge. But yeah, just working on that at the moment. I've automated, like working on automating as well. So I've got my girlfriend's my full-time executive assistant now. So she pretty much is the boss. She runs the business and I basically just write the content and do the sales calls. So yeah, it's been exciting. But yeah, just working on automating, minimizing the amount of time I need to spend in the business. So delegating where I can and outsourcing where I can. And yeah, working on making a transition to one-to-many selling for me right now.
That's pretty exciting. You're getting to the point where you're going to start, doing a masterclass and things like that. So is that something like if people who are in the live or see the live, is that something they could jump into, or is that going to be teaching? What's that going to entail?
So it's called The Secret Edge because I'm revealing the secret edge, exactly what I did to do, $80,000 in commissions in 5 months, and like how I built that up from nothing this year. Specifically how I find high ticket buyers, where I find high ticket buyers, how I position myself as an authority, and exactly how I close the high ticket sales once people do reach out to me. If anyone is interested, you can check it out. We've actually opened the cart a few days ago at www.thesecretedge.com. But yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting. That's definitely exciting stuff. I will definitely be there for sure myself. That's that's one thing that I always like to tell people. Even if you've been in the online space for a while, it's always a good idea to continue to further your education. And I'm not trying to use this as like a sales pitch. I'm just saying in general, even people like I'm still investing in myself, and that's just the way it goes.
Absolutely. I bought a course last week. I still buy courses all the time. Yeah.
Right.
Sorry,
yeah.
Man,
Especially like just for certain things. And
yeah.
Hey, good morning. But so yeah, I think we're going to start wrapping up the live, and I appreciate your time and coming here and taking your time out of your day to be here with us. Is there anything you would like to close on, or?
No, not a problem, man. I appreciate you having me on. Thanks. Thanks everybody who jumped on live. And no, nothing. I think, look, if you're doing affiliate marketing, if you're not where you want to be, take stock. Check what's working, check what's not. Get rid of the stuff that's not. Trim the fat, and just put your head down. Because, like, if I can do it, you guys can do it. I'm a high school dropout. I didn't know what this was 12 months ago, and I managed to make it work. So yeah, anybody can make this work. It's just a matter of being hungry and making a commitment.
Yeah, I totally like that. I mean, if I have a similar backstory too. Like, a lot of people don't feel qualified. Biggest thing, take action. I recently just had someone who recently jumped into a program, and he reached out to me and told me, thank you for all of my help. And, he's started earning commissions today. And, in reality, I didn't do anything. The coaching and the training, without you and without someone taking action, the training and all that's nothing. So on top of what Aaron says, number one, take action, and if you made it to live, I appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next one.
Thanks. See ya.